Well, I guess number one, we're here in Atlanta, and we had our first practice yesterday, outdoors, which we've not been outdoors for a couple weeks. But our players are very inspired, very eager, very businesslike, which has been, I think, a bonus. Anytime a coach has got players that are businesslike, it's been a warm welcome for us, and we're very focused for playing this bowl game on Thursday.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll go ahead and start questions, and we'll start off with Chris Solari.
Hey, Tim. I know that you've got some familiarity with Michigan State, with Landon and Brad having been here. I guess how much do you know about this incarnation, and how much have you kind of just kept up with them from those ties?
Well, like you say, it's family ties. My brother was a longtime assistant coach at Michigan State. My son worked there in the recruiting department. So I think anytime you've got family ties, relationships with other schools, you like to follow that. And I do know the fight song. I'm not going to sing it today, but yes, I do know the fight song. But I think we're very eager to play a game. I think our players are excited to play a Big Ten opponent. And I think, Michigan State's had a phenomenal football season. It'll be a great game Thursday.
All right, we'll go next to Jonathan Shop.
Coach, you've been around a long time, a lot of great spots and locations. Are there any hidden fundamentals that produce good quarterback play? And if so, could you describe some of those?
Yeah, I told the quarterback the other day we're wearing white jerseys, throw the guy in the white. So that's always somewhere to start with. But, I think Nick Patty's done a very good job, very solid job. Players got great trust in him. He's a worker. He understands the offense. The thing he hasn't had, he's just had much playing time. We're losing, Kenny Pickett, a kid that's obviously we're learning, what life is like without Kenny, but, had a phenomenal football season. But Nick is ready to take it. I think the players are excited for him. I know Nick's excited for himself. And, we're going to go to town 100 miles an hour.
All right, next question to Christopher Carter.
Hey, Tim, wanted to ask more about Nick, because you said, the players have trust in him, and they have, they built this understanding with him. But like you said, he hasn't played much. What are the things that he does in the background that we don't get to see every week that make him someone that the players can trust and do believe in so much?
Well, I think, number one, Nick is a worker. Nick comes to practice every day prepared. Even though he's, not getting many game reps in front of the crowd and in front of the TV audience, he's at practice. He understands reads. He understands the offense. He's able to communicate. And his workmanship has, been there all year long. So now it's his time to go and show what he can do and shine. And I think the players have seen what he is, who he is, and they're just glad that he'll be in the huddle with them.
All right, next we'll go to Jerry.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for your time. I was just wondering, Tim, what kind of possible personal touches could you put on Pitt's offense? And second part of the question, would you like to be a candidate for the full-time OC job?
Well, I think number one, I'm just focused on the day-to-day activities. We got practice here shortly. I'm just focused on what we're doing for practice and making sure we're organized. And it's been a welcome because we haven't changed. I've been with Coach Narduzzi for 7 years, so the practices haven't changed. I'm familiar, players familiar. Coach Whipple did a marvelous job in the 3 years, kind of organizing, and we're just keeping the car on the track and moving forward and going 100 miles an hour, and the kids have welcomed that. The kids know what to do. They're experienced. They're older. They like to play. They like to practice. I think that showed all season long, so it's just an idea of just, managing, what we do and do it well.
All right, next question, we'll go to John McGonigal.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. With Kenny, you mentioned him and the decision that he made. As someone who recruited him, who's known him for so long, do you kind of just even take a moment and say, hey, like, it's kind of a cool thing that he had this decision to even make, that he's in this position draft-wise and everything to opt out of the bowl? And I guess, what did you and your staff, when he made that decision, think of that?
Well, obviously we had a chance, and like you said, I was, kind of firsthand recruited Kenny, out of New Jersey, my recruiting territory, but we all had a chance to watch him grow. We all had a chance to watch him do what it did for our football program. Unbelievable person, unbelievable leader, great player. On top of all that. And, Kenny had a chance to make a decision. He made the decision. I know our team is very happy for him. But we know that we're still playing a game. You know, we're ACC champions. I think our team has had that attitude that we're still, you know, practicing and treating ourselves as champions. I know, yes, and since we got a new quarterback, but he's been involved. He's been around, so we're just going to go full speed, 100 miles an hour. And, you know, it's life without Kenny, but that's just the way it is. So we're still going to show up and play, and I think our players are very excited about that.
All right, next we'll go to Anthony Patterson.
Hey, Coach. My question more so, what is it like to get the opportunity to be the interim OC? Obviously, you know, you've been coached for so long. And what is Lucas Kroll meant to the offense, and what have you seen from him?
Yeah, you know, you kind of mentioned that word so long. I kind of paused for a moment because my brother had reminded me that, you know, back when I was the play caller at Purdue in the early 90s, you know, Coach Tucker was a player at Wisconsin. So, you know, I've been around long enough that I was calling plays against him as a player, which I guess shows our ages. But I think, you know, number one, I'm excited to call plays. I think that's always, you know, very unique. Of course, maybe when it's fourth down and everybody kind of pauses and you got the big play call to kind of come out of your mouth is always very exciting, but that's part of the deal. But yeah, Lucas, you know, did add a dimension to our team. One of the dimensions he did add was great leadership, you know, a worker. You know, he's been around before, you know, so at least for some of the younger kids at the tight end position, they're able to kind of see what he did, how he acted. And he fit into our program very quickly, which was nice. And I think he was just one of the many, many building blocks we've had for our football team. A lot of guys played a lot of parts this past football season, week in and week out, to have the season we did. And I think that was why this season was so special. A lot of people were involved. Lucas was one of them.
All right, we'll take our next question from Dalton Coppola.
Hey, Tim, thanks for your time. Just adding on to Jerry's question about being the long-term OC, does that add any additional pressure? I know you said you like calling the plays and making this Peach Bowl almost sort of a tryout for next year. Does that add any sort of extra pressure for this game?
Well, now that you mention it, yeah, I guess probably there's more pressure. I have not looked at it as such because, you know, to me right now it's one game, a one-game focus, and we just got to take care of that business. And, you know, there's been a lot to do these, you know, ever since our season has been completed. Our players, I think, have had been a joy to work with. I appreciate what they have done for our staff on offense, for our entire team. I think we just have had a special year because our players are special. And when that takes place, good things happen, and the good thing's been happening has been winning. So we're going to keep that going because that's just what our kids know and who they are. And I'm just worried about Thursday at 7 o'clock playing over here in this, you know, Mercedes-Benz Stadium out the back door and having a grand old time playing in a Peach Bowl should be a very, very exciting football game.
A few more questions for Coach. We're going to go back to Jerry next.
Tim, a couple weeks ago, Kenny said he would be up in the upstairs in the coach's box with headsets on. I was wondering if that's still the plan, and will you be on the field like Mark was?
No, my plan is I'm going to be upstairs. That's where I've had most of my years, probably, I don't know, 15 plus them in the press box, only a couple of them on the sideline. You know, we'll just manage it that way, but we're excited. And if Kenny's up there, he's whispering in my ear because, you know, Kenny's a player, Kenny sees, and, you know, Kenny's done it. And, you know, I'll take any voice from him. I'll listen because he's been part of this process. And, you know, we're going to go to town, like I just mentioned earlier. And like I said, we're eager. I'm eager. You know, like our players have worked very hard, and you know, we'll get the ball moved around.
I'll take our next question from Charles Odom.
You mentioned at the start practicing outside for the first time in a couple of weeks. I'm wondering how your players responded to this warm December we're having in Atlanta, and it's probably warmer here than when you guys played at Georgia Tech in the regular season.
Well, matter of fact, when we played at Georgia Tech back in early October, it was kind of a warm, humid day here in Atlanta. I think we've played very well in Atlanta. In my 7 years here at Pitt, you know, our trips to Atlanta, we've played, I think, the last 3 seasons we've been down here, but Atlanta's been good to the Pitt Panthers. So instead of playing over at Bobby Dodd Stadium, we'll make our place over here to not the Georgia Dome, but this Mercedes-Benz. But you know, we're welcoming the trip. We've traveled well as a team this year. That's been one unique part of the season. We've won our road games, which I think we have traveled well as a team. That has showed. and we're just going to do it one more time. That's the focus for Thursday.
Next up, we'll go to Jim Hammett.
Hey Tim, how you doing? With Nick's being at his second start of his career, how important is it for you guys to, maybe get the running game involved with the veteran offensive line and 3 running backs that have made plays this year?
Well, that is correct. We do have, a veteran offensive line. We've got a number of seniors up there. We've got the 3 running backs that have contributed this past fall in one game or another at very, very, key parts. But, Nick can throw it too. Nick's got a good, heads on his shoulders. And I think, we've got obviously the Blitnikoff Award winner. The ball's got to go to him. It's got to get to his hands. Nick knows that. Nick knows his jersey number. We'll get him in a position that, the ball get thrown like we have all year long. That shouldn't change. But I do think when we do want to run it, I think we've got some confidence in some people who can run the ball. And, running is part of the football game, so you'll see both run and pass.
All right, next we're going to go to Jared Ramsey.
Tim, I was just curious does Nick possess the same ability to extend plays that Kenny had with his legs? And do you think that'll be still a part of the offense?
Well, it must and it has to. Any quarterback has to extend plays, and that's one thing we do practice. Reps of scramble drills, extending plays, trying to extend plays to make them pass plays, not automatically just turn the quarterback to run it. Nick is a headsy football player. Really, by and large, he's not as fast as Kenny, but he still, does have a north-south mentality. And if he's got to put his shoulder down and run, he has scored touchdowns in the past running the ball, so it's not, unfamiliar to him. But when a pass play is called, he'll execute a pass play, and if it comes to he's got to scramble and move forward, we trust him making those decisions.